to Soccerlens TV. I'm Andy Brassel. Now, before we get cracking on the European stuff from the weekend, a few happy returns to issue. To Soccerlens, in fact. It's 4 years old today, Monday the 19th, so congratulations to all on the team here. And they had a bit of an early party in the English Premier League with a fantastic weekend of action, which saw Arsenal completely slip from the title race after blowing a 2-0 lead at Wigan in the last 10 minutes. Wigan not used to really getting points off the big four, but they beat Liverpool earlier in the season and now got these 3 points off Arsenal. Of course, a lot of focus on Lucas Fabianski, his poor handling, particularly for the equalising goal by Titus Bramble. Obviously, that Arsenal have to look at in the summer a new goalkeeper with question marks over Manuel Almunia and his role in Danny Rose's admittedly fantastic goal for Tottenham in the North London derby during the week. Not the only area that Arsenal have to strengthen, but that leaves us focusing on Chelsea and Manchester United and tightening up there. With United winning that late Paul Scholes goal in the Manchester derby, and Chelsea not just being beaten but completely outplayed by now rampant Tottenham at White Hart Lane. And there are a few things to look at here. Firstly, never write off Manchester United. Everyone was pretty much engraving Chelsea's name on the Premier League trophy earlier in the week following that narrow, nervous win over Bolton that took them 4 points clear. But if anyone has written the book on scoring late goals, it's United. And Scholes, who of course is well into the twilight of his career now, nevertheless doing that classic English box-to-box midfielders late run into the penalty area to head in that winner. And even though City were on the upward trajectory for most of that second half, it just goes to show that United are always in there with a fighting chance. And Chelsea's performance was somewhat more worrying. They still have all the cards in hand. They have home games against Stoke and Wigan to come, as well as that away trip to Liverpool. But nevertheless, it has little questions over Chelsea for now and for the future. And the focus really, I think, is on Joe Cole. Now, this is the one player that Chelsea have who is someone who can provide a bit of a spark, a bit of extra creativity, and his form has been really unpredictable since he's come back into the team from that serious knee injury. And with him going A for a new contract and B for a place in the England World Cup squad, his form is a bit of a concern. Chelsea are obviously a little reticent on the back of his recent form to offer him a new big pay deal. Of course, Cole is 28 years old now and wants some sort of security. There are suggestions that Manchester City are going to offer him that in the shape of a 3 or 4 year deal worth £180,000 a week. It remains to be seen whether he'll get that or whether it will stay at Stamford Bridge, but they certainly need him for the last 3 league games and for the FA Cup final. And if it won't be him going forward, then there's certainly a creative vacuum in the Chelsea midfield. And certainly it comes into sharp relief in a game like this, where you have a young, really zesty Tottenham midfield, the likes of Huddleston and Modric, really bossing the middle of the park. And it's times like this that not only Chelsea miss that creative player, but they also miss the real energy of Michael Essien. Now, another country where the league race isn't so tight, is coming to a natural conclusion, is Portugal, where another really young, zesty team, Benfica, are pulling clear. They're now 6 points clear. They only need 1 more point if they're to guarantee the league championship, following their win at Académica of Coimbra at the weekend. A couple of goals from the Brazilian Velden being important in that. And really, this game with the 2 goals from Velden and Ruben Amorim scoring the finally clinching 3rd goal in the win, really showing not just what a great unit and what great entertainers Benfica are this season, but what a fine squad they've got. That players like Amorim, Fabio Coentrão, Velden can drop in and make stuff happen. Again, the rotation options available to Jorge Jesus were very prominent in the week. They beat Sporting in the Lisbon derby after a tremendous second half display. Pablo Aimar, the Argentinian playmaker, who should be part of their World Cup plans, coming on at half time and playing a key role in that, really energising the team and scoring a fabulous second goal. Of course, squad system is very important to someone like Pablo Aimar, who's had his problems with fitness in the past and needs to be really gently managed to get the absolute best out of him. Really, only Rafa Benitez has done this in the past, with the exception of one excellent season in Real Zaragoza after he left Valencia. So it's great to see that Aimar has found another manager in Jesus who seems to know how to handle him correctly to get the very best out of what is such a wonderful player who we all like to see doing his best. Now finally, of course, we have to focus on the Champions League stuff from this week and semi-finals to come into Barcelona, which everyone's really looking forward to. And also Bayern Munich versus Lyon, a lot of excitement there, a bit of history in the Champions League between the two teams. And of course Arjen Robben, who's arguably one of the best players in Europe at this very moment. Everyone's looking forward to seeing him in tandem with Franck Ribéry as well. Now, of course, there's been a bit of a problem in the preparation with volcanic ash still lingering from Finland, and a block on a lot of European air travel. Both Barcelona and Lyon, as the away sides, have had to undertake long and arduous coach trips to their away games, with Barcelona stopping overnight in Cannes in France before crossing the Alps and getting to Milan for the game on Tuesday. And also Lyon planning a little stop in Stuttgart after going in a motorcade of minivans, or sort of something like out of the Italian job, on the way to Munich for their nearly 1,000-kilometre journey. Now, a lot of people have been complaining that UEFA should have done more to help the away teams in this situation, particularly as they're such important matches. Sporting director of Barcelona, Txiki Bergerstein, saying that perhaps UEFA should have taken control of the situation. I have a lot of sympathy for the governing board. I don't really see what they could do there, especially approaching the end of the season. There are so few windows to reschedule stuff. Of course, television comes into it as well. But with league championships and those clubs being involved in the championship races as well, it's difficult to see where they could fit in a moved fixture. And really, it's just one of those things that's happened over the years. Of course, we think back to England, for example, being kept awake in Istanbul the night before a European Championship qualifier by tooting horns. Not the ideal sort of preparation. These are things that happen over time. If we go back to the first UK club ever to win the European Cup in this very competition, Celtic on their way to play Inter Milan in Lisbon back in the 60s. I remember their right back that day, Jim Craig, telling me how that they almost got to the game late because the coach driver took a wrong turning and was going in completely the wrong direction to the stadium. Someone tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Look mate, I think you need to do a bit of an about turn." Eventually they got there, eventually they won the game and were the first British club to lift the European trophy. So these things are sent to try players, but in the end they're only little hitches, and I don't expect them to have any major influence on the outcome of what should be two absolutely great semi-finals. I hope you enjoy those, and I hope you enjoy the Europa League semi-finals as well. If you want to ping me a question, please do so here. Send me one on Twitter on the address that's coming across the screen now. Have a great week, and we'll see you again next Monday.